Hello everybody and welcome back to Final Fantasy Diaries. For gameplay we're going to do Mushroom Rock Fiends, heading for the Youth League headquarters. They're busy planning some kind of operation, and the fiends are multiplying like crazy. Mission go! And today I'm going to continue talking about my game-by-game feelings? I was gonna say like opinions or analysis, but really I think it's just my feelings about Final Fantasy.
It's our turn to do the following.
And I will say, because I've been thinking a lot about
Good to see you again, Lady Yuna.
kind of my opinions, but then
You
also
haven't
trying to
forgotten me, have you?
appreciate the things that I don't necessarily like. You're Yabal of the Youth League.
You're in the Youth League.
Yabal.
You really do remember me.
I'm the
I am
best.
truly honored, Lady
I only
Yuna.
knew that because of the prompt.
Since that day we first spoke, the Youth
Anyway,
League has been conducting a
because you
spear
can
hunt of its own.
appreciate something that you don't necessarily like.
We, the Youth
You
League?
can know that something does good work without
Let's go.
enjoying
Take it from
it.
here.
Oh,
We, the
Clasco.
Youth League, to better our understanding of Spira's past,
What are you doing
vow to
there?
remain vigilant in our
Anyway.
search.
I don't like.
Ruins and spheres.
Clasco needs to be doing something else.
That's enough.
He does not
Those
belong
two
here.
guys are getting away.
I'm with you there.
Did LeBlanc's men pass through here?
Yes, they said they're here to take care of our fiend problem.
Okay.
You see, the Youth League is in
And
preparation
I'll
for an
talk about that
important
more,
operation leading our
the
patrol
difference
short-lived.
between appreciation and
road to headquarters
enjoyment
has been
in
overrun
next
with
video.
Be warned,
Because Final
unless
Fantasy
you can
IV is
defeat
not
the fiends on
high
the road,
on
you will
my
not be able to
favorite
pass.
Final Fantasy list.
So,
But today
are
I'm
you
talking
ready
about
to
Final
run the
Fantasy
gauntlet?
III. And Final Fantasy III... Oh, the Gauntlet? Yeah, let's do it.
Understood.
And Final Fantasy
Expect to encounter
III,
fiends until you reach
I
the
would put
vicinity
in my
of the
middle
lift.
category.
Fight your way
So
through
there's the
them and
top
proceed to
category,
headquarters.
which is like my favorite
That's it. Good
games,
luck.
and I just love talking about them. I
Glasgow?
love
Glasgow.
playing
Show
them.
them the way.
I could pick them up
Of course.
anytime.
This way,
The
please.
middle games are
Yeah,
good.
let's hunt
I
some
enjoy
fiends.
them. 3, I really enjoy 3. I wish more people would play 3 and talk about 3. I think it's actually really quite great. But it's not my favorite. I don't feel the need to replay it a ton. But I definitely do enjoy it when I do play it. Whoa! I don't like those kinds of monsters. Anyway, we're supposed to be going this way, so let's just go that way and run away from that monster, because I don't like it. They kick you. It's mean. Alright, Clasco, let's do it. Clasco, can I talk to
You
you?
seem down.
Yeah, he does.
Well, a lot has happened since you brought us the calm. I ended up following Captain Lucille. When she joined the Youth
And
League,
so,
did I. But I'm still stuck playing tour
3
guide.
is,
You know, all
again,
I
in
want
that
is to ride
middle
on a
section.
chocobo
And I do
faster than
highly
the
recommend
wind.
it. And the story of 3 is recapped at the beginning. The Gulgan thus prophesied. The earthquake was only the beginning. The great tremors that swallowed the crystals, the light of our world, only to spawn monsters from the depths of the scarred land, are nothing but harbingers of what has yet to come. Something is coming, fathomless, ominous, and full of sorrow. But hope is not yet lost. 4 souls will be blessed with light, and so it shall begin. So, 3 has a lot more in common with 1. There's Warriors of Light. They started off pretty much identityless in the original, although I have to admit I have only played the DS remake. So take that kind of in your consideration, that I didn't play the original, so the characters that I'm used to are much more, shall we say, fleshed out. Much more fleshed out. So, that does kind of take me into my favorite character category, which is one of the subjects I want to talk about. In the original, much like with Final Fantasy I, I would probably not have a favorite character per se. I might have a favorite class or a favorite... no, really just a favorite class. That's all you could have. But in Final Fantasy III, what is new is that instead of choosing the class at the beginning and going through it through the entire game, you can change class and gain class levels all throughout. And so that is a big change over what we saw in Final Fantasy I. That's not my favorite introduced element. As you can probably guess from what I've said about Final Fantasy I and about Final Fantasy III, if you have played the... or if you have watched through the playthrough that I did with Lissa of 3, you probably already know this, that job classes and changing job classes like you do in 10.2 is not actually my favorite thing. You will notice, as I play through this, I don't actually change job classes that much. I like my characters to be a certain class and do certain things that I know. So that's just my preference as a player. But let's go ahead, since we have to kill some people, let's go ahead and, let's be a gun mage, why not? So let's go ahead and change it up a little bit, because I want to kill these things. They're annoying me. So we need a little bit more offensive power. Alright, there she's changing. But it was a nice development for 3 to do, and I think it added a lot of strategy, and certainly by the end of the game, again, if you've watched the playthrough of this that I did with Lissa, you will know that to beat the game, you essentially have to be ninja. At least in my experience of it. Let's undarken real quick. Okay. What ability is the gun mage learning? Sorry. I should go ahead and check that, since I have her being a gun mage. Because why not? Blue mages are fun, right? Shell, cracker, fiend skill, scan, anti-aircraft, flan. Alright, I'll just let her learn all these in order. That's fine. Alright. So what is my favorite character is again based on the Final Fantasy III DS release, which gave them all personality and unique backstory. They're not all... Okay, so I haven't learned anything yet. And so the favorite thing that I have is the... character of Refia. Oh my goodness, I am sorry that there's just all these moments of silence. It's like I'm trying to do too many things at once. Yeah, so Refia is totally my favorite. They originally had all been just together at Topapa's village, and that's fine. You know, that's a good Final Fantasy I kind of hearkening. The group's already together. That's logical. That's totally fair to do it that way. But I really like the personality they gave each of the characters. They're all very sweet. children, like very literally. They're in their like 12 or so. But Refia is my favorite, and it's because she's really got energy, and she's really got drive, and that's something that I always like. So Refia, her story is that she's trained as a blacksmith, but she essentially wants to... What did you just say? Did I switch to like Japanese scripts? Anyway. But she wants to get away for a while. She wants to travel her own path for a while. But at the end of the game, she goes back to becoming a blacksmith with her father. And, well, adopted father, but father. And that's great. You know, that's a nice little bit of character development. It might not be much in the grand scheme of things, but it's good. It's really solid. And it shows her drive. Whereas, the others are totally sweet again. The knight and the, best friends who kind of look after each other. I always like best friends, so that's a good story too, but Refia is my main one. But when it comes to my favorite NPC, I have to go with Desh. And mostly it's because, he's a little bit sassy, but he also has this mission, and I'm really like that. I'm not like that. I have no mission. I like, again, characters who have a mission and who are willing to sacrifice themselves to complete their duty. And that's ultimately what Desh does. Thankfully, Desh doesn't die. I don't know quite how that works. It's never really explained. But nevertheless, he was willing to give up everything to fix this tower. And to me, that's a very appealing storyline. And the storyline in general is actually really enjoyable for me. I'm sure... Let's see, which way do I go? Oh, here we go. I'm sure it will strike very many people as a very basic, simple story, and I mean, it is. The characters don't really develop, they just kind of go and do their duty, and ta-da, that's it.
Oh, wow.
But
You know. It's me, Elma.
me,
It's been so long.
I actually
Wow,
quite
you really
like it,
changed.
because you don't have to
How are
necessarily
you?
get
Never better. Now
lots
that
of
I'm in the
plot
youth
twists to
league,
have a
I've always got
solid,
something to
good
do.
story, and sometimes you just want a
Hey, you
solid,
made it past all the
good
scenes.
story.
Nice work.
And I think
Go
that's
on,
what
step
3
aside.
does.
Right away, Captain.
It doesn't try to do too much. It's not really focused on the characters
look at
per
you.
se, as much as
bad,
their
huh?
willingness to go and do this journey. And it really works for me, especially in comparison to 1, because it is so played off of 1 and so built on 1. And so they both share that story of, the 4 warriors who will save the world, whether or not anybody else kind of knows that they do this, which is especially big in Final Fantasy 1. Everybody, even the warriors, forget what you do. In 3, people remember. But I also like the interplay of 1 and 3 in terms of their themes. I like that the darkness and the light really balance each other. And kind of in my headcanon, they're the same world. I don't know if I can make that argument, actually.
Formed a year ago by people who opposed New Yevon.
but
Its members
these
claim
two
that in the
games
hands of the
work
Yevon,
back and
Square
forth,
would only
and in my
advance
head
past
canon,
mistakes. Their leader is a former
one
crusader
follows
named
after
Mage.
the other.
Apparently, he
Light
earned quite a
wins, there's
reputation
calm,
among the
dark
Crusaders.
wins, there's calm, light, and back and forth to the string. Let's go meet Nuge. Yeah, sure, okay. Alright, little kids should not be playing with swords, but, you know, such is the new Yevon League people. I don't know. Now, unfortunately, when it comes to favorite music, I actually don't have any. Which is strange. You know, I listened to the soundtrack yesterday, like, expecting that something would really grab me. But it did not. It's not bad, obviously. I mean, it is solid, classic Final Fantasy music. And like much else in this game, it is solid. It is enjoyable. I like it. But maybe it doesn't quite stand out in the way that other games do. But please leave a comment below if you have a favorite song. Because, again, they're all good tracks. Just none really grab me more than others. So we're gonna have to leave that aside. And also leave me a comment with your favorite NPCs or characters.
It's
Hey,
been
you.
too long, Lady Yuna.
Yeah, I remember
I am
you.
Lucille, commander of the Youth League forces.
It's good
But
to see you.
Hiya.
the one
I'm
thing
glad to
left
find
to
you
talk
well.
about
As you can see,
is the
I joined the
favorite
Youth League to
introduced
aid in the fight for a
element.
new Spira.
As I
Consider
mentioned
it my duty.
earlier, it's
Maiden Nuge,
not
our leader,
the fact that you
has
can
been
change
hoping for
job
an audience
classes
with my lady for
at
some
any time. It's,
Unfortunately, he is planning a mission
drum
of great
roll,
import
please,
and will be occupied well into
the
night.
Moogles.
I am terribly
Ah,
sorry, but I must ask that you
Moogles.
return another day.
Now, I forgot to mention chocobos in my Final
My
Fantasy
apologies.
II
The
rambling,
looking for spheres too.
because
Yes,
I forgot
knowledge of the past is
chocobos
the
were
key to
introduced
the
into.
future, so says the Maven. It is with these words in mind that
But
we seek the
chocobos and
spheres of
Moogles
yore.
are really
The
synonymous
mission we
with
are
the Final
planning
Fantasy
also revolves
Final
around a
Fantasy
sphere,
franchise, and with good
I
reason.
am
They're
sorry.
adorable.
I had best
They're
say
the
no more.
best.
It is not a matter to be
And
discussed openly.
Moogles
No, I suppose
in particular, oh,
not.
pain.
My apologies.
You're the best. You are the sass master.
There sure do seem to be a lot of weirdos around
Like
here.
you.
The Youth League is a motley bunch. Some members certainly have
So, why do I love
questionable
Moogles so much? It's
Just the
not
other day, a
because
very
of
valuable scroll
what
was stolen almost
Moogles
as
have
soon as we
become in
discovered
recent
it.
games.
The Thief League?
I think Moogles
No.
are a
No,
little,
few here would go that far. Most of
how
us
should
are
we
very
say,
devoted.
cutesy?
We work hard with Maven Nuge towards our goal of building a
Cutesy.
new Spira.
Moogles have become very,
But the
very
Maven insists that
cutesy and
none
high
be turned
voiced, and I
away,
don't like
and
it.
so the occasional bad
In
seed
my
does slip
mind, Moogles are more like
Unfortunately.
bears.
But I
And
can
that's why I
think of
love in
nothing more
3
heartening
that when they're
than with a
introduced,
Lady
they're
Yuna to join our
bodyguards. They're
cause.
bodyguards
That would do the League
for
much good.
the mage. That is much more in keeping with
I'm very sorry.
how I feel about the
I'm very
Moogle
sorry.
that first introduced me to Moogles, first made me fall in love, was of course Mog from Final Fantasy VI, and I will talk about him so much in 2 weeks when I handle 6. That might be... I might need more than one episode to talk about Final Fantasy VI, frankly. But to me, Moogles are warriors. Moogles are really, really tough. And so, yeah, I'm really, really glad that Moogles started the franchise in fighting form, shall we say. That's really important to me.
Over time, where was I?
Yeah, this might take for a while.
Was a man by the name of Tremor.
So we're gonna listen to this story before we wrap.
Tremor
Tremor had been a
priest.
priest.
With the Seekers, he had the perfect means of
Okay.
Why, I believe I shall.
This might
Though
take for a
Yevon
while.
would not release its fears, yet surprisingly, a great number of people
So,
rallied
I
to its
hope
cause.
that you enjoyed
Their motto
rambling
was,
on Final Fantasy III.
Nude was a member of the Crusaders. He is a
And
powerful man,
again,
once
comment
renowned
below
for his
with your
fearlessness
thoughts on
in
Final
battle.
Fantasy III. Where does
Is
it
only a
fall?
little more?
And
Looking at all the young people gathered here to take part in the
yeah.
League's endeavors, I must say,
How many have you played the original
quite
3?
envious.
And how does the
So
NES?
much energy, so much time. While I, on the other hand, have grown
How does the
weary
original
of
NES
passing
version
many
compare to the DS remake? Because that's
I travel
sadly my
slowly,
only
gathering
experience,
knowledge,
but I
only
think
to
I
have it
probably
slip
enjoy
my
it more
mind to
anyway.
remember
So it probably works for me.
Just between you and me, I don't even remember how
So,
old I am.
have a lovely Sunday.
Might I ask you one
Now that
small
Maykin
favor?
has stopped
What is
talking,
it?
and I really love Maykin.
I'd like to shake
Um,
your hand.
Maykin's
It's not too
voice
much trouble.
actor
To touch just
is
once
actually
the
Dwight
hand that
Schultz,
defeated sin
who
and
was
saved all
Howling
spirits.
Man Murdoch in the A-Team
Oh,
TV show.
thank you.
So
Now
Maykin could
this
talk
old
forever, and I would be really
Go
happy.
in peace.
So anyway,
Don't say
that's
that.
your little fact
Your hand.
for
Is something wrong?
Final Fantasy X-2,
No, it is not.
in addition to all the
Lady,
rambling of
you
Final
know
Fantasy
you
III.
have my
As I was saying before I got distracted, have a lovely Sunday. Definitely have some relaxation. And I'll see you next time. Interceptor out.